Have you ever wanted to make your jewel light up or maybe change its color? Well, stay tuned and I'll show you how. Here is everything I used to complete this mod: soldering equipment, a drill with a 2.5-inch hole drill bit, wire cutters / strippers, a hammer, some 22 gauge wire, heat shrink, hot glue gun, LEDs, I'm using blue 3mm, resistors, I'm using 470 ohm, Brazo, some extras which aren't needed but can help are some Scratch X compound, a Molex extractor tool, plastic scrubber, plastic putty knife, and some regular goo off. Start by removing the top shell. If you need help doing this, check the link in the description. Normally you'd have a top fairway cage on the underside of the lid, so you will need to remove that, which can easily be done with a flathead screwdriver. Mine has been removed in a previous mod. Once that is done, go ahead and put the top shell in the freezer for 30 to 60 minutes. While you're waiting, you can splice your power and ground wires into the power cable for the hard drive. I will be using a Molex pass-through connector so that I can unplug power when I need to, though this is unnecessary. If you're unfamiliar with Molex, your yellow wire is 12 volt and your red wire is 5 volt, and the two black wires in the middle are both grounds. If you're not going to use a pass-through, this is where you'd want to connect your main power and ground cables. You're going to want to make those about 12 to 16 inches long. And once you're done with that, go ahead and just put it back together and set your Xbox to the side. I scavenged a female Molex connector from an old power supply, which will act as my connector for the LEDs. Once you have waited 30 to 60 minutes and your top shell is nice and frosty, you'll need to take your hammer and give it a nice hit on the center where your jewel is on the underside. Your jewel should fall right out. As you see, there is always a risk when doing any type of modification, though this is the first time it has ever happened to me, and I've done this multiple times. Once your jewel is out, you will need to remove the adhesive. Sometimes this is a breeze, and other times this is a real pain. Only use a razor to start, or risk scratching your jewel all up. I ended up using some Goo Gone and a plastic scraper to help remove the adhesive. I wouldn't recommend using any heavy solvents as it can cloud the acrylic, such as the heavy duty Goo Gone. Citrus based should be fine though. If you would like to keep the Xbox letters the metallic silver, you can fill in the letters by rubbing wax into them. I used a small teacup candle. Once your letters are filled in and your jewel has been cleaned off again, it's time to start rubbing on the Brazo. I won't lie, this will take a while. You can use a plastic scrubber to speed up the process, but it will scratch. You can kind of fix the scratches later with some Scratch X, but it will only do so much, so don't expect miracles. So if you want the nicest jewel possible, you'll have to put in some elbow grease. A toothpick can be used to clean out the wax once you have finished clearing. Now take your 2.5-inch hole drill bit and drill the hole directly in the middle. There is little room for error, so be sure on your cut. Once done right, there'll be a little ledge all the way around so that your jewel doesn't fall through. Now it's time for the LEDs. I'm using 8 blue 3mm placed with a dab of hot glue in what I'm calling a 4x4 pattern. Choose which leg you want facing up and down. I put my positive on the top and my negative on the bottom. Once they are all placed and the hot glue has set, start sectioning off groups of LEDs by 2 and then connect the like legs together. After that, you will be left with 4 groups of 2 LEDs. Choose a group and connect your main ground wire to it. Take 3 pieces of wire about 3 inches long and connect all your groups together, starting from the group that has your main ground wire. Once you have all your grounds connected, follow the same method and connect all your positive legs together. Be sure to add a resistor to your main power cable or you will fry all your LEDs, which is a common thing for me to do. Once it's all connected, feel free to test out your LEDs. If you did it correctly, it will have a nice glow. Then you can choose to cover all your connections and LEDs with hot glue. I really like using hot glue way too much, as you can see. Some advantages to this would be it's not going anywhere. For one, you could probably throw the Xbox across the room and your LEDs will stay in place. Disadvantages are it's ugly. I won't lie, it doesn't look too great, but it's very functional. Your jewel can easily be reattached with a very small amount of either hot glue or super glue. Now go ahead and just sit back and enjoy your hard work. Thanks for watching. I hope this tutorial was able to help you. If it did, please leave a like, share it with your friends. I really appreciate the support. If you have any questions, leave a comment and subscribe for more modding goodness. You can follow me on Twitter at TechnoOnTop. Be sure to check out my other videos. In my last one, I taught you how to add a hard drive activity light. Till next time, peace.